You often hear the phrase that you already have all the answers inside of you. What if you did, but just not in the way you think? Did you hear that? I think I heard a twig snapping somewhere in the forest. I like to consult what I call the council of inner selves. And I pull up a seat at the table for each part of my mind, you could say. Maybe there's a little danger, a little chaos you might need back in your life. And I listen to them, I hear what their concerns are. Here is our first council member, the analyst. I like to think of them as the logical part of my brain. So let's say I wanted to change jobs. They might go, okay, well, how much money do you need to live on? Are you trying to get a higher paying job, or are you trying to work less? And that's the trickster. I like to call on this archetype when I need a little bit more chaos and fun in my life, and maybe some unexpected opinions. This next archetype you're meeting is what I call the soul. And this is what I like to think of as like my heart chakra. If you watched any of my tarot videos, I go into that. In a recent one I did. And then I sort of do a roundtable discussion with all of the different competing viewpoints. But this is where I feel things from my heart. So what do I really truly want? If I had no barriers or no limits, or I didn't have to worry about money or, any of that stuff, what does my soul actually want out of this situation? What would really make me deeply happy and fulfilled? I apologize if this one looks a little scary or gruesome. You're meeting my shadow self. More personalized for you, like what your soul wants, what you came down here to Earth to experience. This is Raggedy, and he actually came to me in a dream. I sort of inceptioned myself into loving my own shadow. Here's one a lot of us need to make peace with all the time, our inner child. Next up we have the Oracle. I like to think of them as my connection to Source or the universe or God or whoever that is for you, but they don't care about work or deadlines or schedules like the analyst does. They just want to play. This guy I barely knew before I started any of this journey. What would Jesus do? That's how I like to think of it. So I guess they're all as important as each other, but this one is your body. So your roots, the part of you that goes down into the ground. I'm not really religious, but what would God want for me? Finding out where your feelings sit in your body. So, sometimes when you're anxious, you feel it in your chest. I hope you enjoyed meeting my inner council. If you'd like to know more about this, specifically how I developed it using practices from psychology and therapy, like internal family systems and schema therapy,